All right, Tasha here from Lady Boss Studio. Today we're just going to go through how to turn on or off motion effects on your actual website and how you can do that with widgets as well as columns if you wanted to have an entire column move. So let's go ahead, and I'm just here on the homepage with our Kate Carter Elementor website templates. So just going to pop right into Elementor here. It's going to be a nice quick one. And a lot of the times we have the buttons moving in, as you just saw there. That button had a motion effect to it. So if I go ahead and do preview on this, and I scroll as this is loading, you're going to be able to see that button just moved in. That image kind of faded in. This button just moved as I continue to scroll down. These faded in. If I keep going, the button's going to pop in. So these motion effects, these three are coming in, are all happening in Elementor, and I'll show you how to sort of toggle those kind of on and off. So going back into Elementor, if I were to click on this button here, I'm clicking on the widget itself, going over to the Advanced tab, Motion Effects, and here is where you can choose what the entrance animation is. So in this case, they've got a whole bunch. They've got the fade ins, zoom ins, bounce in, slide, rotating. There's a bunch of different ones. There's also attention seekers, meaning when it loads, it'll kind of flash or pulse or do whatever it is that you want it to do. So you can do that with individual elements. So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to just do, I think we had it on fade in. You fade in left. And then in this case right here, this button obviously is a fade in left. Now for this here, it's the image. If I go over to advanced, it's the same thing, motion effects. This is just fade in. There's no fade in right, down, left. If I change it to left, you would see it would fade in coming from the left, which in this case we would do from the right. But for a lot of the images, we just use the fade in. So it sort of fades in as the page is loading, as opposed to having a movement attached to it. So we do that a lot with images as well. And then it's the same with these three. These are all fading in at the same time. Now, what you could potentially do is, let's say I wanted to, I'm going to click on this second one. I'm going to go to advanced. I'm going to go to motion effects, and I'm going to add an animation delay. So I'm going to do 500 here, and I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to go to advanced. I'm going to go to motion effects, and I'm going to add 1,000. I'm doing that just so you can very clearly see the difference between them. Now, if I update that and I go back to my homepage, I'm just going to reload the preview here. Perfect. And as I scroll, you'll notice, see how these came in one at a time? I'll do that again just so you can see that, because I added that animation delay. They come in 1, 2, and 3. So it's the same thing with, if I scroll down here, these three. Now you're going to notice all three of these things faded up one at a time, right? So I didn't just want this element to fade in. I wanted everything in this column. So in this case, I'm going to click on the column, advanced, motion effects, and fade in up. So it's going to fade everything in that column. This is the same thing, except this is on a 500 millisecond delay. This one, it looked like it came in at the same time as this one. So I'm just going to go and make sure that this is updated to 1000, because that's going to give that nice, if I go again, update this, and I go look at the preview, once it just reloads here, and I get down to that part next up, each column's coming in 1, 2, and 3. So that's how you can do the motion effects. Now, if I was selected on the column in this case, let's say I was like, I don't want any buttons moving, I don't want any animations. It's as simple as selecting the element, coming up and just hitting none, and it will no longer have one anymore. I'm just gonna Control Z that so that fade up still stays in there. Now, the only other thing I wanted to show you here, just because I feel like it's something that will get asked, and I'll cover it here and I'm sure in many other videos, is this parallax effect, where the image is sort of staying stuck behind where it is that I'm scrolling. So right here in this testimonial section. So if I go ahead and click on the actual section itself, and I go to style, I already have that image here in the background on the left-hand side, but under attachment is where I'm going to want to select fixed. If I were to go default, it's going to move with it. If I go and select fixed, the image will sort of stay stuck in the background and I'll be scrolling over it. The only other thing you're going to want to make sure is that you're on cover and you're on no repeat. So the image actually takes up the entire space, as opposed to if I didn't have cover and I should contain, yeah, it would pull it. So it's just like almost zoomed in. And if I just went contain, notice how there's going to be spacing on the right and the left hand side there, which we don't want. We want it to cover the background. So those are the, I guess, pretty simple motion effects that you can do. And again, you can turn them on and off. And I also want to make this video in case you're using one of our templates and the buttons do have a motion effect, but for whatever reason you didn't want that, you could go and just like toggle that to none and you would be good to go. If you have questions about our website templates or Elementor website templates, please go ahead and put them in the comments below. We would love to hear from you. Thanks again and have a great day.